Hello, and welcome to the Hearth of the Matter. If you're going to take anything away from this broadcast, remember, stay somewhere long enough, and you'll forget what it's like to be anywhere else.
This is Jeopardy!
Welcome to the Hearth of the Matter. My name is Maxwell Byrne, and I'll be hosting tonight's event. Make sure you're comfortable and have a warm beverage to accompany you as we gather around the hearth. Today, it's with pleasure I introduce our guest, Angel Belford. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and what you'll be drinking tonight, and such. So, go ahead.
So I'm Angel. I'm a graduating senior at SUNY Oswego. I am the head of plot for Alliance LARP NEPA for the Ascension campaign. And I'm drinking hot chocolate today because it's a little chilly outside.
Excellent choice. Hot chocolate is always usually my go-to as far as hot beverages. Could never really get into tea. I tried. But okay, so that's quite a lot of different, quite the title. So let's start with LARP. What is LARP? What is that?
So LARP is live action role play, and it's kind of like a mix of Dungeons and Dragons and a Renaissance fair that is like this weird hybrid. You're literally creating a character, dressing up as that character, acting out what the character would do in certain situations, and you're that character for the weekend or however long the event is.
Okay. And so does that differ from, like, what is, you work with LARP Alliance or Alliance LARP?
Alliance LARP, yes. So Alliance is like the umbrella for this LARP game. It is the foundation of our game, and the NEPA is the chapter that I play at. We have 13 chapters across the US and Canada, and we've got, like, there's Alliance NEPA, which is just in Montrose, Pennsylvania. There's Alliance Gettysburg. There's Alliance New Hampshire, Alliance Las Vegas, Alliance Toronto, Alliance Michigan. There's like a whole bunch of them, and I can't even list them all right now because I don't remember where they all are.
A lot of LARP, to say the least. So are these, being under the same organization, are they connected at all to each other, or are they separate individual campaigns?
Yes, I'm sorry, I got really excited. Yes, so all of our player characters or PCs are located in an online database. So you can take a chapter from Alliance NEPA and go to Alliance Las Vegas and play that same character. It's the best thing that I can do to compare it is taking your favorite character out of your favorite fantasy book and plopping it into another fantasy book. Each chapter has its own storyline, its own flavor, its own politics, its own everything. So it's always slightly different. The only thing that really stays the same are the rules for the game as a whole.
Can you actually go into a bit about the rules, how the game works, what you do, and, you know, what does it mean to play it?
So, the best way that I can describe it is we're a conversational LARP. And what that means is instead of hitting someone in the arm and they lose their arm, we are verbally telling the person that we're fighting how much damage we're doing. So every time I were to swing a sword, I would have to say something like 5 normal, 5 magic, 5 silver. There's a whole bunch of different carriers that you can have, but you have to call that damage so that the person in front of you knows how much to take away from their body points. All of the spells have incantations, and we use little birdseed packets to throw the spells at the person. Mechanics for like our archery is we don't use live bows because it's a little too dangerous and people don't always make them right. So we also, again, use the birdseed packets where we touch our bow and do the drawback motion and then throw it. Alchemy is, again, birdseed packets, but those ones are orange so that people know that it's alchemy. There's crafting abilities where you can craft like blacksmithing, potion making, scroll making. There's a lot to the game. I mean, it take me an hour just to go over half the rules for the game.
Well, we don't quite have time for that. So how does the event how does the event typically sort of work? Like, is it like, do you take turns, like saying what you do? Is it like you show up to the event in character, I presume, and take us from there?
Okay, so you would show up at your event Friday night. Usually the event starts, it depends again on the chapter, anywhere from 9 p.m. to the latest I've seen a game start is about 11 o'clock. And from that point on, when the game starts, you're in game. You sleep and eat and use the bathroom in game. You are in game until Sunday afternoon. Most games, again, depending on the chapter, end anywhere between 1 in the afternoon to the latest I've been in game on a Sunday is 4 in the afternoon. So again, it just depends on the chapter, how late the game runs. It also depends on the site that the game is playing at, because some sites are like, oh, you have to leave by a certain time. So we calculate cleanup and everything into when our game ends.
So when you're in the game, what does that really mean? Like, how in character are you? Is like everything you say is in character, what you do, and how do you distinguish when someone says like, sorry, I have to go do a thing, my leg is broken, IRL?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Well, it's how do you distinguish when someone has to say something out of character and things like that, and sort of how do you distinguish that sort of thing?
So when you're PCing, again, player character, that's the character that you created and that you created a backstory for, you created their race, their class, the whole thing. It's like creating a D&D character almost, but you get to dress up and be that person. Most people stay in game for the entire time. They wake up and everything in game, and they're in game pretty much the entire weekend. Some people, if they need to step away, if they don't have, so out of game is a white headband usually. But if they don't have their headband, they'll put their weapon on the top of their head, or they'll make a fist and put it on the top of their head if they need to excuse themselves from a scene. And that's a big thing with us is we have a check-in thing where we'll do this at a person, which is, are you okay? And if they do thumbs up, they're good to go. If they kind of are a little shaky, we'll keep an eye on them. If they do thumbs down, we remove them from the scene, because out of game, they're not okay. And one of our slogans is in-game drama, not out-of-game trauma. So we do try to make sure that, yes, people stay in game as much as possible, but if something's happening inside their head, we try to make sure that they don't have a bad time.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a bit about the experience of playing, you know, going through it, being in character, sort of events you've done, what it's like?
So I've been playing for 13 years.
That's quite a long time.
So I have a lot of experience with this game. On average, we have anywhere between 3 to 6 events in a year. We usually play from spring to fall. And I mean, I get super immersed into my characters. Like, really the only time that I'm not in game is when I'm getting ready for bed. But like, I also sleep in an area where I could be in game if something were to happen. I mean, I've been killed in my sleeping game. It gets pretty intense sometimes. I mean, I've bawled my eyes out because something's been going on with my character, and I'm so immersed. I am that character, and I'm reacting the way that they would. So, I mean, there's so much I could unpack.
So,
as far as that goes,
what's it sort of like when not just you're in character, but everyone's in character, and that sort of immersion? What is it like to be there?
It's really, it's like playing a video game, but you're actually in it. That's the best way I can describe it. You're doing the things, and you're your own protagonist at the time, and everybody around you you're just interacting with. what I do right now is I'm actually writing the storyline for the game. So I'm not actively PCing, I'm NPCing, which is non-player character. And I'm sending people out as goblins, as random creatures, as outlaw humans that are bandits, like all this stuff to push forward my storyline. And what that's doing is I'm allowing the players to react to the storyline, and depending on how they react is how I move forward. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, as I'm NPCing, I could be a townsperson, I could be a random goblin, I could be a random outlaw attacking the village. Like right now, I could be just about anything. So I do a lot of plot movement. So I go out a lot of the time to give information in a subtle way, or I'm watching what's going on so that I can react to it later on, type of deal.
So what sort of goes into creating the NPCs, the non-player characters, and bringing that world to life? How do you decide who should show up, how they should act, and then how do you then push the plot forward? And after that, how do you construct the plot? How did you decide what to put into it?
So as far as choosing who can play what, unfortunately, I don't really, I can have people in mind and reach out to them and be like, hey, I have this really cool role for you. Are you going to be at the next event? But if they're not going to be there, I have to change gears and figure out someone else. So usually I don't create a player-specific NPC role until I know who's actually NPCing for me for the weekend. So usually I'll figure out who's there, and I will talk to them one-on-one and be like, hey, I have this role. Are you comfortable doing it? And I'll show them the information. As far as how I write the events, I have a plot team with about 3 or 4 other people, and they'll write little snippets of things, of modules that they want to run, and mini storylines. But overall, the way I come up with the main storyline is I talk to my plot team, and we brainstorm together, and I kind of just say, okay, this thing's really cool. I'm going to run with this. And, using the creative writing stuff that I've learned in Ep02, I will write the story, and I will write the modules that push the story. I will write the encounters that help move it along. I mean, I've seen previous plot teams have to rewrite an entire event because of a choice a PC's made, though. Oh, so that can be pretty unnerving.
All right. I'd love to talk more about that, but I'm sorry, but we have to interrupt. Be sure to stay tuned because we'll be right back with more discussion by the Hearth.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Warm Up by the Hearth. We hope you enjoyed the break and are ready to get to the heart of the matter. Now, you've talked a lot about what what goes into it, the sort of effort involved, the coordination between everyone, what the event is like, and what it is. Now, it's only natural to ask, why do it? Why put the hours in? Why go through all that effort?
So, I'm going to go back a little bit. So, I started playing in 2009. I was in the military at the time. I was in the Army. And my best friend was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Come with me. So I was like, okay, sure. And I showed up at the event. I knew one person there. It was my best friend. I knew absolutely no one else. There was about 60, 70 people total at this event. And I walked away with 60, 70 new friends. Everybody was super amazing, super kind, super just absolutely wonderful human beings at these events. And I think that's part of why I continue to do it, because every time I go to an event, I make new friends. Every time I go to an event, I add to my life in general with the people that I meet. All of these people are super caring, super inclusive, so supportive. Without half of them, I don't think I would be back in school at 33 years old. 34 years old. So everybody's just so amazing there. And for me, it's a big escape from reality. People dive into video games, people, do sports or go to the gym or whatever. I play a live action role play. And it gets me away from the problems in my life and the issues that I'm having at the time. And it allows me to process them more subconsciously than consciously. And I think that's the biggest reason why I continue to play, is that it's amazing fun. First of all,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have
I get to pretend to be someone else for the whole weekend.
I'm sorry, Angel, but we need to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Athletics, Aaron, there were 6 big points. This is the one you've been waiting for. This group has never beaten Cortland.
Getting started with some men's soccer, as the Lakers had 2 conference matchups.
For half of the Lakers' goals this entire season.
offense is key. You talked all about scoring goals.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Hi, welcome back. Very sorry about the interruption. We may have to go to another break, unfortunately, but thank you for bearing with us and these technical difficulties that we've been experiencing. It's certainly quite the trouble that we've been having. Really unprecedented issues, but these things are bound to happen when you're attempting things that have never been done before. Of course, that's the whole experience of putting all this together. All right, but we'll get back to you right after another quick break. Sorry.
She can't hear. She can't hear us.
Are we clear?
What?
Are we clear? All right, thank you. We're finally back. Thank you very much. All right. So, as quick as you can, what is so great? Why should people LARP? Why you LARP to get out of it? What is it like being able to be someone else? What does that mean to you to be a different person than yourself? And do you feel that there are parts of you that you bring into that, and are there parts of you that you take out from that experience?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So I have PTSD from my 2 deployments. And so for me, it's a way to escape that for a little while. My first character was my super outgoing, talked to everybody character. And my second character was my more reserved, very noble character. She actually went in to join the nobility and everything. My third character was my crafty side. She did a lot of crafty stuff in game. So that was the part of me that came out with her. And then my fourth character, she was very reserved, very shy, very anxious, and playing her was the hardest character for me to play because that was me exploring my own vulnerabilities. So it was really strange to get into her headspace because she was me but in a more exaggerated form.
Yeah, but being them, you can be extensions of yourself in different ways that you haven't really gone to express before. And that, is there anything, are there particular things that you sort of learned about yourself through this experience?
Especially with my last character, yes, there were a lot of things that I learned about myself. I learned how to handle my anxiety a little bit better with her, especially social anxiety. For me, crowds are really rough. So because I created her as a very anxious character, I tapped into my own anxiety, and it actually really helped me get through a lot of it and not have as many things that cause me to become anxious. So it really is therapeutic in a sense. I mean, just getting to hit people is therapeutic in and of itself, and everybody there wants you to hit them. So that's pretty cathartic in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. So do you think everyone should try LARPing? Do you think it's something everyone can get something out of?
I think everybody should at least give it a shot. I mean, my fiance's played one event and he'd love to come back, but we got kids, so we both can't go. And, I think everybody should try it at least once. Even if you just come for one event, come NPC, come hang out with us, come be whatever. Who knows? Maybe you'll love it and you'll come play again. If anything, you're going to walk away with a bunch of new friends. We tell everybody that plays for the first time, your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram is going to blow up because everybody's going to find you and add you. And that's just how we are.
It's that you bring all these people together that just want to participate in this thing, and all that effort goes into just this big culmination of, combined efforts and, just excitement to make something and be able to step into this other world and become people that are a bit of ourselves and a bit of aren't ourselves, just all together. I think that's fantastic. Angel, thank you for coming on. I'm sorry, I'd love to talk more, but
it's okay.
Time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Time, ever fleeting, has run its course, and here we part. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Angel.